Hello everybody, I went ahead and finished Plague Tale Requiem, finally. Sorry it took me so long to get to the game. Everything came out, and it doesn't seem like this game has nearly as much commotion around it as God of War Ragnarok did, so I was less worried about spoilers for this game than God of War, which is why I prioritized God of War. But after playing Plague Tale, I have to say, I wish I played this game first, because this game is a fucking masterpiece. Genuinely the best game I have played in a very, very long time. So, I'm going to get into the pros, I'm going to get into the cons, and then I'll give you my final verdict of the game, but boy, oh boy, is it a doozy. The first thing that's a pro for me is the graphics. This game has the greatest graphics for environmental design that I have ever seen in a game. Okay, I have a 3080 Ti, so you know I've played all those games on Max. God of War 2018 Max, seen it. Detroit Become Human Max, seen it. Red Dead 2, seen it. Had a PS5 as well, played through Last of Us 2, right? God of War Ragnarok. I've seen all of these games that people say are the best looking games of all time. Plague Tale Requiem beats all of them. Every single one of them. Hands down. The environmental design in this game is second to none. The texture work on a single rock has more effort put into it than I have seen in entire video games before. I'm not even being dramatic here when I say that every single level in the game is a masterpiece, handcrafted workmanship, the likes of which we have never seen in the gaming industry. It is truly incredible that a smallish team with Asobo managed to achieve something that AAA developers that spend hundreds of millions of dollars on their titles are unable to succeed at. It is incredible. Every single game, or every single level, I was doing the E3 slow pan 360 shot to take it all in. I mean, if you were to count how many times if I gave you $1 every time I stopped and just was like, God damn, this game is pretty, then you'd be able to buy like 2 copies of this game. I mean, I felt like I was saying it 3-4 times a level. It's incredible looking. I haven't played Callisto Protocol yet, so, you know, I hear great things about that game. Maybe that game looks good. But the environmental design in this game is incredible. The faces and the texture work on those and the motion capture, it's not there. It's not on the level of like a Red Dead 2 or a Detroit Become Human or a Last of Us 2, but the environmental design, the levels, incredible looking. And the game runs at 30 FPS as a result on next-gen consoles because, you know, this is one of those situations where I actually understand. Most of the time, I'm a big FPS guy and I make gripes about it, but even on a 3080 Ti and a Ryzen 7 5800X with 48 gigs of RAM, this game would drop down. I'm playing at 1440p with everything on high, and this game would drop every now and then down to the 50s. But honestly, when you look at it, I'll excuse it, because when your game looks this fucking good, I mean, it's incredible that this game runs this well. Look at Cyberpunk. I mean, you turn the graphics up in Cyberpunk, and yeah, it looks pretty damn good, but you're chugging. You're down in the 30 FPS margins, right? This game runs fantastic for how good it looks. I genuinely, no videos that you watch of this game are gonna do it justice. You have to play it yourself to see these graphics. It's phenomenal. Something else that's phenomenal, you can hear it playing right now, the soundtrack. This is banger, 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 banger with a side of, you guessed it, banger. Every single track that plays during this game is phenomenal. I don't know what type of holy worshiping they had to do to get the miracles bestowed upon them that is the soundtrack of this game. It's incredible. It's better than Thor Ragnarok. It's better than God of War Ragnarok. I mean, God of War Ragnarok has a banger OST, but there's a couple songs in that where I was like, this is pretty okay. This game has none of that. Every one is a banger. It's so good. Some of these songs can make you tear up and feel things you haven't felt in years since your parents got a divorce when you were 12. Like, genuinely, they will evoke emotions in you that you thought were dormant and laid to rest. It's crazy. The voice acting is also incredible. I pulled up the voice actress's name for Amicia, Charlotte McBurney. Yo. Also, the voice actor for Hugo, he goes pretty hard. I thought his voice acting was a little hit or miss in the last Plague Tale, but in this game, he does a much better, more consistent job. There's a few times where he gets like this voice crack when he's getting very emotional, and it really hits. It's very well done. But Charlotte McBurney is the star of the show here by far. Amicia's voice actress is incredible. There wasn't a single line that was delivered in the entirety of the 17-ish hours that I was disappointed in. I mean, truly great voice acting. When these guys say that they take inspiration from Naughty Dog, honestly, there's a few aspects in this game where I think Naughty Dog should maybe be taking some notes on them. It's that fucking good. Like, if they were to just have the motion capture and the lip syncing from Naughty Dog, this game would have no flaws. Speaking of no flaws, let's get into the gameplay. It's just exactly what we loved about Plague Tale: Innocence, but with extra tools, extra puzzle solving, and more freedom. The levels are much bigger in this game, and they allow you to kind of approach various secret areas if you want to. You can just beeline it, obviously, for the main quests, if that's what you want, but I think this world is just handcrafted so beautifully that you're really doing yourself a disservice if you're not spending every possible minute in it. If you're not truly soaking in every single little detail that they have put into it, I think you're doing yourself a disservice here. It's that good. I didn't want to leave the world. I wanted to experience everything that was in it. I mean, it's just great. The gameplay, you have several companions throughout the game that will join you on your quest, and all of them have unique abilities that allow you to either fight enemies or sneak around in unique ways that I thought put a beautiful spin on it through the entire journey. I always felt like I was getting something new, or that, you know, I was bettering myself by adding somebody to, you know, my companions list because they were providing something meaningful to the gameplay. And I really enjoyed that. In terms of the actual story and the characters that are joining you, they're all great. I thought every single character was well done. I do think that there's a certain bad guy that falls into the realm of cheese a little bit. It's like, okay, this guy's a little, like, bit of a cheesy villain. But at the end of the day, the real villain is the rats. And I think that they are fantastic. They're scary. They're a force to be reckoned with. And you never truly feel like you can win against these things. You feel like you're just holding the tide back. But as you know, if you've ever been on a beach, eventually that tide is going to fucking win and erode away everything that you have. So it's a wonderful antagonistic threat that is consistent and always there and always looming over you. And it's great. I really enjoy the actual storyline of the game. It gets dark when it needs to. It has points of levity when it needs to. Some of the characters, you know, they'll crack some jokes and stuff, but especially one of them, she's a little bit more lighthearted. But even she knows when to get serious, when to say it how it is, and get everybody's heads in the game. So overall, I thought all of the characters that they added were really well done. I was worried that they were going to do a disservice to one of the characters. He's my boy. But luckily, they paid him the tribute that he deserved. So I appreciated that. I got a little worried, But, who am I kidding? Why did I even doubt these guys? I mean, these guys are masters of the craft. What was I even doing doubting them? And, yeah, I was fully invested. Every single chapter had something interesting. I always wanted to play this game. Like, I didn't really want to stop. I wanted to consistently keep playing and experiencing more and more of it. And just, I didn't want to leave this world and everything that was happening in it. I loved it. It's a beautiful sequel. I don't know if this is the end of the series, but if it is, it's a beautiful end to it as well. I doubt it will be, but if it is, perfect. Like a perfect ending. It left absolutely nothing to be desired for me. But I will say, if you weren't a fan of the last game, as with most sequels, you're not going to be a fan of this one. If you didn't like the gameplay from the last one, then you're not going to be a big fan of this one. I only played on normal mode, and I did feel that the game got a little bit easy, especially because one of the upgrades you can get will make it so you do not use ammo. Like, you'll have your crossbow, which isn't a spoiler. It's in the fucking promotional images and stuff like that for the game. That's not a spoiler. But one of the upgrades you can get for the crossbow makes the game just criminally easy because it makes it so you can just pick up bolts. You can reuse all of your bolts. And it seems like it's 100% chance to reuse the bolts. So you essentially have infinite crossbow ammo, which means you can just murder everyone. But here's my argument. Some people will say, oh, it makes the game too easy. It makes it so you don't have to utilize all of the other mechanics with the alchemy and stuff like that in combat or sneaking. But here's my counterpoint. If you think it makes the game too easy, just don't fucking do it. Don't use it. Don't level up the crossbow that much. Right? That's always my argument whenever anybody says stuff like this, like Dead Island and Dying Light. They're like, oh, well, the stomp makes the game too easy because it's a one-shot on the enemies. Okay, don't use it. It's literally that simple. I think it's great that it's in the game because it allows people like myself who, one, I'm not trying to sneak past enemies, you know, I'm going to kill everybody. That's just how I play these games. I'm not the best at sneaking, but I am the best at murdering. So I'm gonna kill everybody, you know, Russian stealth, as they say. No witnesses type of thing. So for me, and I don't really want to spend a lot of time in the combat or sneaking around and stuff. So for me, I just beelined it to that crossbow upgrade, and I was just taking out every single enemy that crossed my path. I don't know if that has an impact on the story of the game or how the characters react to things, but I feel like it does, because characters would consistently make comments about like, dude, you don't have to kill everyone. They're like, Zach, yo, chill, dude. You don't have to fucking kill everybody. Like, we can leave a couple people to return to their families at the end of the night. And I was firmly of the belief that no, we cannot, because I leave 0 loose ends and I am tying every one of them up. Okay. But I will mention that is that I am a fan of all of the upgrades that you can get. I think that they're paced well, and it does an interesting thing with the leveling up where it's a dynamic level up system. You don't like get skill points and put them in whatever you want. According to your play style, you will get XP, and then in certain different areas. So if you're very sneaky and you're sneaking past dudes and you're not fighting dudes, you're gonna level up that sneak bar, and it's gonna make you sneak faster and let you run silent and stuff like that, right? Whereas me, if you're like me and I'm just murdering everyone, it's gonna make it so you reload your weapons faster. It's gonna give you new ways to kill enemies by pushing them into rats or fires or whatever. So it's a unique level up system. I think some people won't like it, but I'm totally fine with it because it allows secondary playthroughs where you go through and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna sneak through and I'm gonna max out this stealth tree. And I really liked it. In terms of cons, okay? Every single con I have about the game is such a minor nitpick that I don't think it's really detrimental to the entire experience at all. Like I said, the faces are not the best, especially when they're speaking or trying to evoke emotions. They're not the best, but the only way to remedy that is to spend millions of dollars on facial scanning and motion capture and stuff like that, right? Which is just not too feasible with this game. And the lip syncing is a little rough sometimes. But other than that, that's really the only complaints that I have with the game. I didn't experience any glitches. And I thoroughly enjoyed all of my 17-ish hours in the game. And I think there is replay value here, if you want to. When you consider the fact that this game can be played for literally $1 because it's on Game Pass, I don't see any way that every single person should not be playing this game. I mean, if you're on PlayStation, you have to buy it, but even then, it's priced less than a full-price title. It's not a $70 title, it's a $50 title, which is incredible, because it's, like I said, 17-ish hours of perfection. When they said that they, take inspiration from Naughty Dog, you can definitely see it. There's a lot of stuff in this game that feels straight up Last of Us. Even one of the songs, you got a guy, strumming on the acoustic, and I was like, this sounds like Last of Us music, which is not a bad thing, because if you're going to copy anybody, I think Naughty Dog is probably the way to go, because their level of polish and quality control in their titles is truly unmatched. But all in all, considering all of those pros and cons, I have to do something that I have not done in a very, very long time. I have to give Plague Tale Requiem a 10 out of 10. In case you don't know how my rating system works, a 5 is an average game, 6 above average, 7 good, 8 great, 9 amazing, 10 is a masterpiece title that I believe every single person should go out of their way to play. I cannot describe to you how truly incredible the experience was playing this game. On PC, we do not get anywhere close to the level of quality that Sony often produces in their titles. So we're stuck here waiting 4 or 5 years to get games like Last of Us, to get games like God of War. I'm actually choking up talking about this game. We have to wait several years to get those Sony games because we just don't get games of that caliber on PC very often. This game is the exception. It's a masterpiece. Every single second I spent in this game, I will remember for a long time to come. I did not want to leave, and it has some of the most beautiful, heart-wrenching moments that I've played in a game in years. I truly think that this should be experienced by every single person out there. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. I can't even recall the last time I gave a game a 10 out of 10. But, like I said, my only problems with it are nitpicky. It's just the lip syncing and the faces not always looking the best. But everything else is just as close to perfection as a video game can get. And this game truly achieves something that the medium has been lacking for a long time, in my opinion. I don't think the gaming industry has had a game with this much passion and love that went into it as I've seen in this title. It's been a really long time. Plague Tale Requiem is a game that I thoroughly enjoyed my 17 hours with. It's a game that I'm not going to forget for a very, very long time. And it's a game that most definitely warrants your money if you have to, but it's on Game Pass for $1. You can achieve this experience for $1. I mean, that is fucking insane. I absolutely loved it. In case you can't tell, this is my game of the year for sure. I really doubt anything else beats this in the year 2022, but who knows? I still have a few games to play, so could change, but wow. This game's a masterpiece. I highly, highly encourage you to experience it yourself. But that'll do it for me. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your day. See all of you in the next video. Or Stern Maroney. Bye-bye.